What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Post-Gazette Pirates YouTube channel. Noah Hiles here from the Post-Gazette Pirates beat. Ready to answer your questions. It's Thursday, which means it's time for another mailbag. You can read our mailbag at post-gazette.com. Make sure you head to the website. Get yourself a digital subscription if you don't have one already. We cover all of Pittsburgh's sports teams, professional, collegiate, and high school, along with all of the news in Pittsburgh and the surrounding area. Definitely worth the investment, in my opinion, if you get yourself a digital subscription. Also, subscribe to this channel at PG Pirates. We're a growing channel. Get a lot of day-to-day coverage. Get series previews, series recaps. You get this mailbag. You get footage from inside the locker room, press conferences, and much more. Highly recommend clicking that subscribe button if you haven't already. All right, so it's Thursday, time for a mailbag. Let's jump into the questions. We start off with Anthony asking me, in my opinion, where does the problem really lie with the lack of offense, both in the majors and with development? I think it's how they assess talent. I think they do a really good job of identifying arm talent from the way they've drafted it, from the way they've acquired it in trades, from the way they've signed it in free agency. They seem to have the formula of what they know works as far as pitching for the Pittsburgh Pirates. They know how to get young guys to develop them. They know how to get the most out of older guys, and they know how to kind of resurrect careers off the scrap heap. I mean, look what they've done with Dennis Santana. Justin Lawrence was a success story before he got injured this year. There are plenty of examples. They just don't have that formula on the hitting side. The traits that they value most are clearly not correct. I don't know how else to put it. You can blame the development. You can blame just not executing, but it just seems like they're not finding the right players. They acquired more position players than pitchers, I believe, in the trades connected to this rebuild. And they really don't have much to show for it at all. Aside from Endy Rodriguez, Jack Sawinski, and neither of those guys have proven to be really anything at the major league level. Sawinski had some success a couple years ago, but he can't hit over 200 right now. So it's a problem. I don't think they're able to identify what truly works. More importantly, I think they're not able to identify what they believe they can make work. I think they're smart enough to recognize like a good baseball player when they see it, but I think that they're looking for their specific type of baseball player. And I don't know if that player fits in the modern era. I don't know, because it's hard to even wrap my mind around what exactly that they value, because most of the guys they've acquired have been, be it through the draft, be it through in trades, signing free agency, most of the guys they brought in have been so unproductive. It's hard to really speculate what were the traits that you liked here. On-base percentage is like the overlying factor, and not even that is consistent. So Stephanie asks, what is your assessment of how Henry Davis is catching Skenes? I think he's doing fine. And more importantly, I think the big story behind this is Henry Davis is the only catcher on the roster right now that can catch Paul Skenes. I don't think Joey Bart, who has been a very good offensive producer for this team, I don't think he can catch Paul. I mean, he can, but it's more, I don't think it's in the best interest for the team for Joey Bart to be catching Paul Skenes. I just don't think his defense is there, and I think it would make defense worse, and it would make Paul Skenes worse. And that's kind of a harsh analysis on my end. I have nothing against Joey Bart, but I just don't think his game is at a level where he can catch someone who has so much movement on his pitches like Skenes. And that's not just personal analysis. That's analysis I've received from within the organization. So Aaron asks, with the putrid batting struggles, I doubt Hague gets fired mid-season, but could he be a one and done? I think so. And it's not just Hague. When the manager gets fired, every assistant coach's job is up for grabs or under question. Like, no one's necessarily safe. So, yeah, Matt Hague could be a one and done. I mean, Oscar Marine could be gone. Brent Strom could be a one and done. They're probably going to have an entirely new coaching staff next year. And I think you can make a really good argument that that should be the case. Even if some guys have had success here, I think it might be a time for a clean slate. Unless they retain Don Kelly, then maybe nothing changes. Open Creations wants to know, what do you expect from Spencer Horwitz this season? Interesting. Let's start with when he comes up. I think that Spencer Horwitz is playing for the Pirates sometime next week. Let's say next weekend. So he plays another 5-6 games in AAA, and then he is up for the weekend series to end this upcoming homestand. So that's where I'll start the expectations of when I expect him to be back. What do I expect him to do while he's there? I think he will have numbers. I think he'll have like a 105 OPS plus or weighted runs created plus. Let's say 8 homers. You know what? I'll say 10 home runs because, I mean, I think he played 97 games last year, which is probably similar to what he'll play this year. Around 100 games, maybe a little more, maybe a little less. I think he had, 12 home runs, 19 doubles, something along those lines. I think he can replicate that production. I do. I mean, maybe a little less just because I don't expect him to light the world on fire when he first gets up, just because he missed all of spring training. He's still getting warm. But I think he'll find his footing sometime truly in June. And I think he'll be a fine bat. Like, I don't think he'll be anything amazing, but I don't think he'll be anything close to a problem. Yeah, I'll say like a 105 OPS plus or WRC plus, depending on what you value more, the Baseball Reference or Fangraphs. I'll say 10-ish home runs, 40-ish runs batted in. Let's call it a 265 batting average, 335, 340 on base. Maybe a little higher. Somewhere around there. Mark wants to know, are there any updates on the bench coach? Cervelli would be a fan favorite. Would he fit? I haven't heard anything on this bench coach. And to my understanding, I don't think the Pirates have said anything. I'm not with the team right now. I'm in Indianapolis. I'm here reporting on some stories involving the minor league guys or guys rehabbing right now. But no, from my understanding in New York, we were told that this would be figured out by the end of last weekend. And in true Pirates fashion, I'm recording this Wednesday night. We still don't know anything. So that's my answer there. Cervelli, he would be a fan favorite. Would he be a fit? Well, he's better than the current bench coach, which is nobody. So, yeah, I would guess so. I don't know. They should probably hire someone because if the manager gets ejected again, it's good to have a solidified backup. But that's just my thought. Final 2 questions, actually, before we answer these. Let's hear from our sponsor, Greenewalt Roofing.
Hey, Pittsburgh. When you think of great roofs, you think Greenewalt Roofing Company. With over 20 years experience, Greenewalt knows your roof is your home's first line of defense. From rain, wind, snow, and ice. That's why Greenewalt Roofing's standard for perfection is so important. You can trust that their team of experienced installers will treat your property like it's their own. When it comes to roof replacements, Greenewalt Roofing is Pittsburgh's only choice. Visit greenewaltroofing.com today or call 412-314-8882 to schedule your free estimate. PA contractor number 36262.
Big thanks to Greenewalt Roofing. We go back to the questions now. Pat asks, do I notice a difference around the team now that Don Kelly is managing? Maybe. I mean, again, I wasn't in New York for these last 3 games, so I didn't get to see anything personally. I've only seen Don Kelly. I've only covered 3 Don Kelly games so far. So I don't know. But I would have to think that simply the change itself lifted a little bit of a weight off their shoulders. Just the idea that they knew that Shelton was going to get fired. It was weighing on everybody. That brings everyone down a little bit when that's kind of the harsh reality you're facing as a collective whole. And once it's done, everyone can say, that's really unfortunate, but time to move on. And I think that that's the biggest difference I noticed. Reggie asks, which AAA player do you think can be the biggest difference maker for this struggling offense? I'll go with Nick York. I haven't been overtly impressed with what we've seen from York this year, but I do think he's had some injuries, and I think it's still important to remember this guy's relatively young. So I think that there's a chance. I mean, I'm not expecting anything amazing from him this year, but I think that he can provide more, unless Jack Sawinski can get going, which I don't know how anyone could bet on right now. It's just such an unknown with him. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Nick York. So that's my thoughts. That's my mailbag. Thank you for listening, for watching, or for reading. On the note of reading, check out all of my work, all of the Pirates beat work, all of the Post-Gazette's work at post-gazette.com. Get yourself a digital subscription if you don't have one already, and subscribe to this YouTube channel where we will have you covered moving forward through the rest of the Pirates 2025 campaign.
Thank you for checking out this content from Post-Gazette Sports. If you watch this video on YouTube, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. For all of the sports coverage the Post-Gazette has to offer, visit post-gazette.com.